Hi, and welcome to the How Do I video series about Microsoft Dynamics NAV 2015. In this video, I will explain how to deploy Microsoft Dynamics NAV 2015 on one Microsoft Azure virtual machine. You will see how easy it is to deploy Microsoft Dynamics NAV 2015 on Microsoft Azure using sample PowerShell scripts. I will also explain how you can prepare your own image on Microsoft Azure. I will do this in 4 steps. First, I will prepare the custom parameters. Then I will explain how to use the sample PowerShell scripts. I will deploy Microsoft Dynamics NAV on Microsoft Azure. And finally, I will show how to access Microsoft Dynamics NAV 2015 on Azure using different clients. Let's start with preparing the custom parameters. And the first thing I will do is create a Microsoft Azure account and then a storage account. Next, Microsoft Azure PowerShell with Microsoft Azure SDK has to be installed. To get the Azure Publish Settings file, I will open PowerShell ISE as an administrator. I will then enter and run the command get Azure Publish Settings file, and the file we get as a result is saved on our local disk. Now I will copy the command import Azure Publish Settings file to my PowerShell ISE to import the publish settings from my file location. If you don't already have an SSL certificate, you have to download the certificate creation tool. This tool is part of the developer command prompt for Windows 8 and Windows 8.1 and part of Visual Studio command prompt for Windows 7. You also need the manifest generation and editing tool, and this tool is part of Windows 8 and Windows Server 2012. For other versions, you have to download it. Now I'm ready to import the Azure PSD1 module in PowerShell and then set the execution policy to remote signed. Then I will copy the cloud folder on the NAV installation DVD to my root drive. There we go. So, when this is done, I will copy the set partner settings to a new file which I'll name set partner settings custom. Next, I will open this file using PowerShell ISE and change all the values starting with to do. First, you have to change the path with your own publish settings file. Then you have to type your Azure subscription name. You can find the name using the get Azure subscription command. Now you have to replace the Azure storage account with your own account, and you already created this storage account in the first step. Then I will create my future Azure service name and its domain name as cloudapp.net. In the following step, I have to create my credentials, so my username and my password. And finally, I will choose the location for my virtual machine and its size. The next step is an important one. I will choose the SQL Server image I want to use, and I will do this by using the command get Azure VM image. This will allow me to choose one of the image names. Now I will specify the name of the virtual network in which to deploy the virtual machine. And then I will specify the affinity group. Now, affinity groups allow you to group your Azure services to optimize performance. Then I will continue with the following steps. Choosing the location for the NAV installation DVD, specifying the name of the VHD that will be created in the Azure storage, specifying the database backup location and the size of the disk on the server, and specifying the location where I want to place the backup on the Azure storage. Okay, almost there. Now I have to enter the name of the NAV instance, then the port number for all services. I'll also put my credentials to super, and finally I'll specify the license location. So when this is done, I will enter the company name and the regional settings. And finally, I have to specify the click once signing settings. I will do this by entering the locations of our Azure PSD1 file, the mage.exe file, and the make_cert.exe file. And now we are ready for deployment. I will start with opening the example 1 VM PowerShell script in ISE and run it. This script uses all the data we have already created in the previous step in the Set Partner Settings custom file. If I run it, the script will deploy Microsoft Dynamics NAV 2015 on one Microsoft Azure virtual machine. This process will give me all the important parameters as a result. And these are the URL for the Click Once download, the URLs for the web client and the web services, and also my credentials. I will now copy all the information to a Word file. If I now go to the Azure portal, I can see a new virtual machine with the name I provided. And here you can also see all the endpoints I've created. Let's now try Microsoft Dynamics NAV 2015 on Azure. First of all, I will copy the URL for Click Once to download the Windows client. If I now enter my credentials, Microsoft Dynamics NAV 2015 will open with the Windows client. By using another URL, I can open the Microsoft Dynamics NAV 2015 web client. And as you can see, also the tablet client is available. By using the Connect shortcut in the Azure portal, I can use a remote desktop connection to connect to the virtual machine. These were the steps I followed in this video. After the introduction, I prepared all the custom parameters. Then I explained the PowerShell script samples. In step 3, I installed Microsoft Dynamics NAV on Microsoft Azure. And finally, I showed you how to access Microsoft Dynamics NAV on Azure using different clients. With these steps, I covered these topics: preparing for deploying Microsoft Dynamics NAV on Microsoft Azure and deploying Microsoft Dynamics NAV 2015 on one Microsoft Azure VM. To learn more about these topics, please visit the Get Started page and follow the links on the screen. Thanks for watching this video about deploying Microsoft Dynamics NAV 2015 on one Microsoft Azure virtual machine. This video in the How Do I series about Microsoft Dynamics NAV 2015 is brought to you in collaboration with Microsoft and Platan.